Greetings. My name is Floyd Christofferson. In the next few minutes, I'm going to introduce to you how Hammerspace technology enables production customers to better collaborate across multiple on-prem and cloud resources, and in the process, to take on more projects than they could have ever done before. But first, let's start with a brief refresher of what Hammerspace is. Hammerspace is a software solution designed to help customers solve the many problems caused when data becomes siloed across incompatible storage types and multiple locations, including the cloud. We do this by unifying all storage types and locations with a high-performance parallel global file system, creating a global data environment that bridges them all. This provides a cross-platform global namespace, which offers the experience of local file access to users and their applications from anywhere to data that may be anywhere. This global reach also enables third-party applications to access all data everywhere without needing to make copies or move data to centralized repository silos. Hammerspace's unique innovation is the creation of a true global file system that can span all storage types from any vendor across one or more locations and clouds. Hammerspace does this by elevating the file system out of the storage layer, decoupling it from the infrastructure. This metadata assimilation can happen with data in place, with no need to move data off of existing storage or to migrate it to new storage. In this way, within minutes, users and applications, even in very large distributed environments, are able to mount this new parallel global file system to get direct, unified access to their data across all storage types and locations. Let's look at an example. In this use case, an LA-based production facility is using a cloud instance of Autodesk Flame for their finishing workflows. The problems arise when they need to collaborate with remote office on the East Coast, who are running Flame in an AWS East region. In order to do this, users need to create copies of project files. OpenClip files and renders need to be continually shuttled back and forth between sites as the workflows progress. To solve this problem, customers install Hammerspace software in each of the cloud regions, creating a parallel global file system that spans them both. From this point on, artists are able to collaborate directly with each other on cloud-based workflows without the need to shuttle copies back and forth. This capability can extend between on-prem locations as well. In this way, production teams in on-prem facilities can collaborate seamlessly in any combination that makes sense for the project. It is important to emphasize here that all users in all locations are looking at the same file system and not file copies. As changes occur in one location, versions of OpenClip files are immediately visible to artists everywhere, with no need to move, copy, or sync data back and forth. As with Shot Publish, when the remote Flame user renders, it's available to all Flames connected to Hammerspace. As additional edits occur by any user in any location, an updated version is available in the OpenClip from the Shot Publish without the need to browse or load the new material. This is because everyone, everywhere is looking at the same files in the same file system, regardless of which storage the individual elements happen to be on at the moment. Let's see this in action.
What you're looking at in the bottom right-hand corner is a Flame that's running on the East Coast. And so Stefan's connecting from Montreal on the East Coast into that Flame and being able to use it. What I'm connecting to up here on the top left is actually on the West Coast. So this is a machine that's running on the West Coast with low latency for people, again, that are working from anywhere on the West Coast. I'm going to go ahead and just go load up. As part of that publish session, it created a batch setup for me already. So I can go through and browse to that folder and see my batch setups that are there. And I believe the one that you wanted me to take a look at was 22. Okay, and so right now what we're looking at is this shot that you should see the same shot over there. If we go to the first frame, that's kind of what we're looking at. I've got a very simple setup to just do something with her eyes. So to be able to use the machine learning that's in Flame to be able to quickly select just her eyes, and I'm making them a little bit extra blue. So if we take a look here, you can see that they're extra blue. And if I zoom in on the eyes, again, they're comically blue, but this is just for the demo to make it clear and to make it clear what's going on. And as Stefan said, because it automatically was set up to render back to the right location, to update the version, even though I'm connecting to the Hammerspace cluster that's on the West Coast, as I go through and I generate this, so I'm going to go through and render this out. It's going to pull the frames that are needed for me to actually render from the East Coast so that I can actually have access to them in order to do this simple effect, and then generate new frames. And those frames will be generated on the West Coast because right now they're only needed on the West Coast. But like Mike said at the beginning, we did have one objective where we immediately updated the open clip file. So even though we're not transferring back those ZXRs immediately, we're updating the contents of the open clip file immediately. And so that means that Stefan, within a matter of seconds, should be able to go back, and if he takes a look at his format options, be able to see, well, actually, go ahead and update it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am updating it right now. So what happens the moment that DJ created, in fact, the version, an outline has been added to the shot, which has been revision. So that means the end user knows that there's something happening to this shot. But of course, since we could have 1, 15, 25 artists, so they could be working in parallel on their content. And here I have a drop down that gives me the ability to move, in fact, to the newly created version that DJ just created here. So very easily, I can get the update of the work that DJ has done on my content. And as you can see, we see this is quite subtle on the screen, but you see the output of the work he has done. This is a non-destructive workflow, by the way, right? So we haven't overwritten any file on the file system. We only created something new, which is managed through the open clip, which manage all the versioning. So that means I can go back to my original plate, and I can go back and forth to version 1, version 2, and so on until producer and directors are happy with the work that has been done on the VFX side.
It sounded like, Stefan, you thought that my effect was a little bit too subtle, so I should try do another revision. And
absolutely, we want to more love.
Make it a little bit more obvious, maybe.
Yes.
So let me bring up the gain as well, a little, just a smidge, and try to render this out now. Now, again, you can see it's rendering a lot faster because we've already got a cache of the source frames on the West Coast. And so it doesn't have to pull those frames over as it's rendering. It was able to do that immediately. And if we go back and we update on the other side on the East Coast, we should now be able to see something. Again, the reason why the frames are coming in slowly is we said, don't copy everything over to the East Coast immediately. Only when Stefan says, yeah, this is actually a version I want, will I go ahead and pull all of them back. So we can kind of scrub through and be able to see those updates pretty quickly.
Absolutely, and I feel that you gave yourself a lot in the shot. Thank you very much for this nice art. I can mark it as viewed, meaning that this shot for me now is the right one I want to work with. And like I said, I mean, you can easily go back and forth through all the versions, see the time it was been created, so that way you know that this shot is coming from a given artist at the given time. And in this demonstration, we're not talking about production management like shot grids and other products, but I mean, imagine that you could also implement these workflows to make a very strong capabilities for your VFX farming out of technologies.
That demo is just one example of how production companies worldwide are using Hammerspace to tie together disparate resources across multiple locations. Mathematics Studios, for example, has deployed Hammerspace to tie together 4 locations around the world to accelerate their production. Spin VFX has been able to deploy a hybrid architecture using a mixture of on-prem storage, cloud resources across multiple locations in the world. Ingenuity Studios has done the same thing with a mixture of NAS and VAS storage and cloud buckets, all in an environment that enables them to be completely flexible in their production capabilities. And Jellyfish Pictures is using Hammerspace to do burst cloud renders across regions to be able to reduce render costs, but also to enable rapid acceleration of bringing remote teams online so that they can accelerate their business without the pain of moving and copying data from site to site. In each of these use cases, customers are able to use existing resources without the need to migrate data to a new platform. No agents need to be installed, no client software is required, and artists are able to use the tools they are accustomed to, in most cases without even knowing that Hammerspace is there behind the scenes, making it all possible. As we have seen, Hammerspace is innovative software designed to help production environments achieve the best results with workflows they're accustomed to and even with the same software tools that they're used to. For more information or to learn how Hammerspace may help accelerate your workflows across the cloud, in multiple sites, or even within your own facility, please visit hammerspace.com and request a demo. Thank you for your attention.